You're listening to the Balanced Educator Podcast, episode number 65. Welcome to the Balanced Educator. We're your hosts, Kaylee
and Josiane from EduCalm. Our intention is to equip and empower you to feel more calm, balanced, and joyful in all aspects of your life.
Hello there. If you've been thinking of starting a mindfulness practice in your classroom and maybe you're not quite sure where to start, or you've started a mindfulness practice in your classroom and you're not sure if you're doing it as effectively as you could, we are going to be talking about how to do this, how we've been doing it in our classrooms today. But before we get in, we just want to pause to say we appreciate you so much. We are so happy that you're here with us today, and we love sharing this time with you. If you're brand new to the show, we invite you to hit that subscribe button, however you're listening to this episode, so that you get our new episodes every week when they come out. All right, let's get started.
So lots of teachers are really interested in starting a mindfulness practice in their classrooms, but they're just like a little nervous and scared about it, just as we were when we started how many years ago.
Yeah.
And today we just wanted to talk about how we can alleviate that worry for you.
And clarify things more.
Yeah.
I know when I was getting started, the big thing that was at the front of my mind was I have so many things that I have to accomplish in my classroom. I can never get all the curriculum done. I can never get through it all. How am I going to make time for mindfulness? How is this going to fit into our day and not be quote unquote a waste of time? Like, I wanted to make sure that it was worth using this time.
Of course. I mean, we have like these giant curriculums that we can't get through in the first place. And then you're telling me to add 5 minutes a day for mindfulness.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand. We understand how that's, a little like, you're like, well, why?
Yeah. Well, the beauty of this practice is that you gain that time back.
Oh my goodness. This is like, we're not joking about this. This is not like this thing that we're like, hey, you're going to gain time. It's like, you're actually going to gain time.
Yeah. And we can talk about this from a couple different perspectives. The first perspective is that the brain isn't always ready to learn. It's not always in a state where it can absorb new information. Learning is really hard. Like, it takes a lot of our body's energy to learn new things. And our body doesn't want to waste energy. It's way too smart for that. It's trying to conserve as much energy as it can. So when our students come into our classroom in the morning, even if they're feeling the smallest amount of stress, if they're feeling any stress at all, their brain isn't ready to learn. They literally don't have access to the part of the brain that allows them to access their memory or learn new things or be creative or solve problems. When they are stressed, they're in fight and flight, which means that all those areas of the brain literally turn off and they become hyper-focused on whatever problem they're perceiving in our life. So say you have a student that comes into your classroom and, for example, their parents were fighting this morning, and that's what's on their mind. That's huge to them. We have to remember that our students are kids, and things that seem like small problems to us are huge problems to them because they don't have the life experience that we have to be like, oh, this problem's big, this problem's not so big. I'm going to choose my level of stress about it. Everything's big for them at that age. So if that's on their mind, if they're worried about whatever happened in the morning, and it could be something as simple as, I don't like the breakfast I ate this morning, or my parents didn't give me or my parents made me wear my jacket today and that's uncool and I don't want to wear my jacket. Like, it can be something as small as that.
Classic grade 5, 6-ish.
Yes.
I remember those days.
Oh yeah, I'm too cool for this. Mom, don't make me wear my ski pants.
Canadian thing right there.
Yes. So yeah, they're coming into our classroom. That's what's on their mind. And so they are not ready to learn. So when we take the 5 minutes to do the mindfulness practice, to get their body and mind to calm down, to relax, to get out of that fight and flight stress response and come into the moment, we're literally opening up the door to the part of their brain that allows them to learn. Why would we try to teach them something when their brain isn't ready to learn?
All research shows that it's impossible to learn until you're ready to learn.
Exactly. And so this practice gains back time right away because their brain is now turned on, ready to learn. And so what you're teaching sinks in a lot faster.
Okay, so let's get into this, Kaylee. Tell us step by step how this year, we know your term is over now, but you were in a term for 7 months full time. How were you using Educom Classroom? We want all the details and also the details from early on in the year till later in the year.
Yeah. So step 1, first thing you need to do when you're starting a mindfulness practice in your classroom is to take a look at your schedule and choose a time that can be as consistent as possible with your students. So I was lucky enough that I had my students the first block every day of the week. They never had gym or music or any other thing going on in that first block. So I scheduled in mindfulness. We had 5 minutes of mindfulness on our daily schedule.
It's actually written.
It's actually
in the
written.
Schedule.
Yes.
Yes.
5 minutes of mindfulness every day right after morning announcements. So it's the first thing that we do together every day. Now, in the beginning, creating that routine, just like any routine that we set up in the classroom, was a challenge. I had to remind them, I had to teach about it every day to get them to sit where I wanted them to sit, to behave in the way that we chose as a class was the correct way to behave during the mindfulness practice, which for us was, doesn't matter what you do, as long as you're not disturbing others. So whatever it is, it's quiet, it's not bothering others.
So scheduling it, then coming up with the rule.
Yes, exactly. And this is all communicated with my students. So they know what's coming, they expect it, it's part of their day. So if you don't have them first thing in the morning every day, then find another time during the day that you do have them consistently. So maybe you do it right after recess or right before recess. The time of day isn't as important as the consistency, the fact that you're doing it every day, the routine of it. Exactly. So we put it into our schedule. We talked about the expectations. Just like at the beginning of the year, what are the expectations for everything? How do you walk in the hall? How do you act in class? How do you act outside? Those need to be reviewed a lot, especially in elementary school. So we went over that together. What does it look like? What does it sound like? What does it feel like? That's something that at my school, that's how we created the rules for everything. So they're very used to what does it look like? What does it sound like? What does it feel like?
Is it a Y chart that you do?
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's great.
So we came up with that together. And then I reminded them of those expectations literally every day for the entire time that I was with them before we started. Okay, what does it look like, sound like, feel like before we got started?
And I think that that's something that you'll gauge whether it's something you have to talk about with your group every single day, or if it's something you need to talk to them about it once a week or remind them once a month. Like with my group, it was maybe a once a month thing.
Yeah.
Or it is, I should say, because I'm still there.
With them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So step 1, you're scheduling it into your day. Step 2, you're coming up with the expectations with your students. Step 3 is doing it.
Go time.
So for me, even though I obviously could have guided them through the guided mindfulness practices myself, and every once in a while I would just to switch things up, but I still played the audio guided mindfulness practices from Educom Classroom. And there's a couple reasons for that. One of the reasons is that it gave me a little break. It gave me the chance to sit and listen and follow along with my students.
Well, that's why we created Educom Classroom, was for that reason, because it's good. Mindfulness is important for everyone, not just the students. And actually on that note, like I just love what one of our ambassadors, Danielle, said. She said, I get to participate, not facilitate. Oh my goodness. Does that explain it, right?
Yes.
Like you get to partake in this amazing 5 minutes.
Yeah. And it's funny because sometimes as teachers, we almost feel guilty if we're like not teaching it ourselves, if it's not always us, you know, like if you put on a video instead of teaching a lesson yourself.
Yeah.
But I think it's really useful and important for students to get information in different ways, right? So they're hearing me talk in front of the class all day. The fact that they're listening to a recording for mindfulness just changes things up a little bit.
Yeah.
It gives them a different voice. So they're listening to your voice, not mine, because we do it in French. But it, you know, just it was something a little bit different.
And sometimes when these things aren't coming from the teacher, it can be taken in a different way.
Yes.
But also I was going to say on top of that is that as the teacher, if you're showing how important it is for yourself and you're modeling the importance, guaranteed you'll have more students jump on board. Like if you're explaining to them, like, I need this time to be a better teacher to you. Like I need to do this so that I can teach in the best ability that I can, because you need to be ready. Your brain needs to be ready to teach too, right?
Exactly. And I would communicate that with my students. Like, if I would be honest, if there was a day that I came into class and I was like, whew, this morning has been kind of crazy, I'm not feeling my best, I would tell them that. I'd say, okay, guys, I had a difficult morning and this practice is super important for me so that I can be the best teacher for you today. So let's all really get on board and practice together. And they really appreciated that. And I would often see that look like, oh, what? You're a human too? You have bad days too? And that was a great moment for us to connect and for the students to see me as a real human, not just a teacher robot.
Yeah, teacher, robot. Terrible. You should have seen her. She just made the arms and everything, you guys.
So step 1, we schedule it into the day. Step 2, we go over expectations. Step 3, we listen to the audio guided mindfulness practice together. And then step 4.
Hang on.
Yes.
If you want those recordings, you are welcome to grab them for free. The intro.
Yes, which is the first module of our EduCom classroom program. So you have a month worth of practices there.
At your disposal.
Yeah.
Where can they get that?
Go to podcast.educalm.com and then click on episode number 65 and we'll have it for you in those show notes. So again, that's podcast.educalm.com. EduCalm is EduCalme. And then click on episode 65.
All right. So first 3 steps, what's the next?
So after the guided audio, then we do a reflection. So I really like to bring what they've been doing in the mindfulness practice into the regular teaching curriculum, letting the themes that they're learning in mindfulness be infused into the French. I taught them French. So it could be languages, it could be science, whatever it is that you're teaching. There was 2 ways that I would do the reflection.
Okay.
Number 1 was we would do a sharing circle. So that was one option. I would do one or the other. One option was doing a sharing circle. So right after our practice, we would all go sit in a circle on the carpet. I had a talking rock. So whoever's holding the rock, it's their turn to talk and everyone else is practicing listening mindfully.
Love it.
Can you tell I said that very often? It's like a recording. Whoever has the rock gets to talk. Everyone else is listening mindfully.
I love how it kind of rhymes.
Yeah. So then I would ask them a question. So I would say something like, how was the practice for you today? Or what did you notice during the practice today?
Did you force them to share or no?
No. So it was their choice. They got to share or they could pass. If they didn't have anything they felt like they wanted to share that day, they were allowed to just pass the rock to the next person. And I would always just say thank you. After someone shared or after someone passed, I would say thank you, just acknowledging that was their turn. Their turn was the choice to not share.
Okay.
So
love it.
Yeah. So my questions would be, what did you notice during the practice today?
You guys, that's the key question. What did you notice?
Mm-hmm.
And just let them answer.
Yeah, it's a very open question. And that's what mindfulness is all about. It's about noticing.
With curiosity.
Yeah, and intention. So just noticing on purpose what's going on. So sometimes they would share, oh, I noticed that it was really quiet today and I liked that. Or I noticed that I'm really tired today, or I'm hungry.
Or I couldn't pay attention today.
Yeah. And every answer is a great answer because that is what they noticed. That was their perspective. So I would just say, thank you for sharing, and go to the next person. Thank you for sharing. Go to the next person.
Did you find that with time, as you did the sharing circles, more students would share?
By the end, I was almost amazed at how comfortable they felt sharing things with the group. They would share things about what was going on in their life. They would say, I'm really sad today because this happened, or I'm really scared or nervous. And it was such an awesome chance for us to build community.
My goodness. You know how happy it makes me that these are things that we now just talk about? Like, even when we were kids, I don't remember talking about emotions like that just in my class.
No.
Like, it just makes me so happy that there's like a safe space for this.
Yeah.
And you're clearly you created a safe learning environment for your students. I love it.
Yeah. I have a little story that I'll share is, I had one student that her dog passed away. And during the sharing circle, she felt comfortable enough to share with the group that her dog passed away, and she was really upset about it. And it was such an awesome time for the other students to show compassion and kindness to her. Had we not taken that time to share, she might not have told anyone. And when she shared, then we started a conversation about, has anyone else experienced the loss of a pet? And almost all the students had raised a hand.
Aww.
And so I said, okay, so we know how you feel. We're here for you. And then I talked to the students, kind of saying, so we've all experienced how hard it can be to lose a pet that we love. And we know how important it was during that time for us to have people there to support us. So we're all here for you today to support you. And
I'm just gonna go cry now.
It was I'm getting a little teary thinking about it, but it was just such a beautiful, beautiful moment where the class came together to support her, and she felt supported. And that was just one of those good teacher moments.
Oh, I love that. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So many things can come up during that sharing circle. Another option is, if we don't do the sharing circle, is doing one of the printables from EduCom Classroom.
So a writing activity of some sort.
Yeah. So in each module, each theme, there's a student booklet that you can print out that goes with that theme. So for example, for the gratitude unit or module, I printed out the gratitude booklet.
Mm-hmm.
And I was going to say livre. I'm thinking in French now because we did it in French for French class. So I actually made that a part of our French class. So I would do the Rigi Routman, I do, we do, you do.
Yeah.
So every day it was a what are you grateful statement. So it says day one was what were you grateful yesterday? Day two is what are you, for example, what friend are you grateful for? What person are you grateful for? So each day it's a different prompt. So it was so fun because then I would just do it on the smart board. I would write what I was grateful for, and then I would talk with the class. Okay, what are we grateful for together as a class? We'd say something, and then, okay, now your turn. And they would write it. And as they were writing,
teaching writing.
Yeah, it was a part of our writing activity.
Yeah.
So I would go around and I would, kind of correct them as they're going, and also check in and see what they're grateful for and have conversations. So yeah.
And speaking of the I do, we do, you do, I did the gratitude letter, which is part of it's like an extra resource in our in EduCom Classroom, and we'll have to do a whole episode on that, I think, because it was so awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, just infusing the regular curriculum into it.
Exactly. Yeah. And also too, because I'm in a French immersion setting, speaking in French is something that we really work on. So doing the sharing circle, we would share, most of the time we would share in French. Every once in a while, if there was like something that was really bothering my students and they felt that they wanted to express themselves in English, I would let them speak in English.
Yeah, it's always easier with emotions,
Exactly.
right? When you're speaking in your regular language, your, what do you call it?
Native
language.
Or,
I think so.
So yeah, but most of the time it was a chance for them to practice their French vocabulary. So we were either, following the practice with speaking or with writing. So it really connected with what I actually had to teach.
With my class, so I teach every other day, and I only teach French. I don't teach ELA. Mm-hmm. So I would always do the mindfulness practice. I would play it in French, and my teaching partner plays it in English. And I always do a morning meeting after. Always. Like for me, that was not even an option. And I would ask them what they noticed. Sometimes we would have discussions on how the brain works and whatever. And then I would also give the kids a chance to just chat about life things. So like what they did on the weekend, and just kind of a time to develop that relationship and to connect with each other. So yeah, for me, it was morning meeting every single day. And I did some of the booklets and I left some of them behind, but I would normally do them at the very end of the day, because that's when I noticed that my students were at their most excited and at being silly and whatever. So I really wanted some activities, some writing activities that I infused into the French class that were individual, because in my class, I do a lot of like group work. It's very like centered approach, transdisciplinary. But I just noticed that in that last half hour, they needed something quiet and calm. So that's when they would work on, or that's when, I don't know why I'm saying that's when they would work, because I'm still working with that. That's when they would do that, or they do that. And that also really helped me in having smooth transitions into the end of the day, which was double win.
Yep.
So, but I didn't actually do all of the booklets. I'm doing some of them.
Nice. Yeah, I didn't do all of the booklets either. But that's what I love about it. You can pick and choose what works with what you're doing in class.
Or if you're like doing some other big projects. So right now you don't have the time to dedicate to that, because that time is already dedicated to something else.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just really nice to have those options with the printables.
Yeah. Okay. So recap. Mindfulness in the classroom. Step 1, you're going to choose a consistent time that you can do it every day and put it into your schedule. Step 2, go over the expectations with your students. Step 3, listen to the audio guided mindfulness practices. Step 4, reflect on the practice in whatever way works for you. And then after that, that could take 5 to 10 minutes of your day. You're going to gain that time back. Absolutely. And it isn't something separate. It's something that can be incorporated into your teaching.
And right now we're in the beginning of May, which means it's the perfect time to experiment. And we've got you covered with the intro to mindfulness so that you can experiment with it. And then if you choose to go full force next year, you've already got the tools, you've already got a little experience with it.
Yeah.
So
your exit ticket for today is to enroll in the introduction and test it out in your classroom. Try it out. Play with it. Yeah. Lightheartedly. Don't expect it to be perfect right off the bat. It's not going to be.
It's just going to, yeah.
Exactly.
It's not gonna be.
So go to podcast.educalm.com and click on episode number 65 to enroll in Introduction to Mindfulness.
Have an awesome week.
Bye. Hey there, Balanced Educator. We understand the challenge and stress of trying to meet your students' diverse social, emotional, and academic needs. Thankfully, we found mindfulness, which helped us create a calm, well-managed learning environment, improving both our students and our own well-being. Teachers are busy, so we created an online bilingual English and French mindfulness program made especially for the classroom that is ready to use. No prep required. Just press play and enjoy returning to calm as you listen to the 5-minute guided mindfulness practices with your students. Then you can take the concrete self-regulation strategies that you and your students are learning into your regular teaching curriculum with our beautiful, inclusive printables. Thrive in a calm learning atmosphere. We want to set you up for success. So for a limited time, we're offering an extended membership to EduCalm Classroom. Enroll before June 15th, 2019, and you'll have access to all the content until June 30th of 2020. This means you can play with the program this year and feel confident and ready to get started with your students right away next school year. We have 2 payment options to suit your needs. You can pay by check by emailing bonjour@educalm.com and we'll send you an invoice. Bonjour is spelled BONJOUR @educalm.com. Or you can pay online with a credit card by going to www.educalm.com/classroom. EduCalm is spelled EDUCALME. So again, that's educalm.com/classroom. We're so excited for you to join our amazing community of caring, mindful, superstar teachers that are changing the world, one EduCalm classroom practice at a time.